Hey, it is 10 a.m. on this Wednesday, February 25th, and it's nice to be with you here for the next hour from the 11Alive streaming center, where we bring you big news from across the nation and right here at home, including the Colin Gray trial underway right now. Testifying right now, an investigator from the Barrow County Sheriff's Office who interviewed both Colt and Colin Gray after the shooting. We'll be listening into his testimony here shortly. But now we want to talk about the weather as we look outside. The clouds are overhead. Chesley's been telling us for weeks now the clouds have just been loving Atlanta for whatever reason.
Yeah, ever since like Christmas time or whatever, they've just been hanging around. Like, they don't put a lot of rain out, which we need. Right. They just want to hang out in Atlanta. I get it.
Who invited you?
Obviously, Dan Kennedy did not invite you, so get out of here. We're looking at the clouds right now. This is over the King and Queen building. As you can see, some breaks in those clouds. We'll get a little bit of sunshine poking through, but not a whole lot. So you don't need your shades, at least for today. You may start off with a jacket. Temperatures are down into the 40s, but we'll be rising up as we head into the afternoon, and we'll get to the 60s. Right now, you see the cloud cover. No rain coming out of those clouds. It's the other good news. Temperatures in the 50s as we speak. Got a couple 50s out there now. LaGrange, Peachtree City, over toward Covington. Atlanta at 51. Same with Marietta. 53 degrees in Georgia's Rome, and now 40s up to the north where we had some 30s. You're looking at 62 degrees for the afternoon high. That's just a degree or two above where we should be for this time of year, but we'll take it. And temperatures will continue to warm up despite a front that's going to push through the area. Cloudy tonight as well. If you got plans for the evening, got a little date night going, 59 degrees by 7 o'clock tonight. We'll go back down into the 40s and 50s for overnight lows tonight. You can see that rain building now up into Kentucky and Tennessee. That's where the wet weather will be. Now, some of that could move into our far northwestern counties a little bit later on this evening. We got that southerly flow over us, so despite the cloud cover, temperatures will be mild, and we'll take that. Now, you notice the light green shade that's up there to the north. It does cover parts of our northwestern counties. That's a general threat for thunderstorms. That advances further to the south by tomorrow as that front gets a little bit closer to the area. So we'll be looking at a general threat for thunderstorms for our state for tomorrow. Not anticipating much in the way of any severe weather at all, but just a few thunderstorms around. Forecast track model plays it out beautifully for us. You see the clouds in place. It gets thicker this afternoon. Isolated shower or two, maybe one or two of us will get wet from that. It's a 20% chance or less, so I wouldn't even look for it. Tomorrow morning, we'll start to see those showers up in our northernmost counties, and then they'll make their way down to the metro area by the afternoon. Now, it's by 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock that we'll get into the daytime heating, so we expect to see those showers intensify a bit. A couple of embedded thunderstorms are certainly possible. They'll roll through the area, could pack winds up to about 40 miles per hour or so, and then it moves quickly out of the area, and by Friday morning we wake up to the clouds, but by Friday afternoon the clouds get out of the way. We'll get the sunshine in on the back end of the day. Temperatures continue to warm through the weekend with the sunshine. Looking at partly to mostly sunny skies on Saturday, mostly sunny skies on Sunday, and those temperatures will be around the 70-degree mark, 73 on Sunday. That's nice.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, hopefully get a chance to get out and enjoy.
Yeah. Chesley, thanks so much.
No problem.
All right, moving on to some other news for you this morning. And right now, Atlanta police still searching for the shooter involved in a drive-by shooting last night that took the life of an innocent 7-year-old girl. She was inside her home. She was with her mother when both were shot. The mother expected to survive. Sadly, the child did not. And now, again, as we said, an urgent search underway for the gunman. Let's get more from Ariana Maniz outside APD headquarters.
Atlanta police say the 7-year-old girl was inside of her house with her mother when the suspect fired shots into the house where that 7-year-old girl died. Police say this happened 10 p.m. Tuesday night at a home on Tiger Flowers Drive Northwest. And when officers arrived, they found the 44-year-old mother and the 7-year-old daughter both shot inside the house. We're learning officers rushed to provide medical care and rushed the child to the hospital in a patrol car, but unfortunately, she died at the hospital. Police say the mother is in stable condition and expected to survive. Atlanta's Police Chief Darren Shearbaum says that this was a targeted shooting and that police will continue to work to get guns off the street in an effort to prevent further tragedies.
The department has aggressively for the last 4 years fought gun violence in the city. We've seen positive trends, but we stand here tonight that says there's still too many guns in the wrong hands and they're being fired in times of anger. And this police department is going to continue to combat that through proper law enforcement and through the use of our PAL centers and our At Promise centers. But we're coming for you, we're going to put you in jail, and we're going to bring justice to this community.
The police chief says that he is urging the public to contact Crime Stoppers if they have any more information to help them in this investigation. Reporting from Atlanta Police Headquarters, I'm Ariana Maniz for 11 Alive.
All you have to do, pick up the phone and call Crime Stoppers. You could be eligible for a big cash reward, and no one, not even the police, will ever have to know your name. Now we go out to Barrow County, where right now, testifying on the stand, Barrow County investigator who interviewed both Colt and Colin Gray after the shooting. He's being questioned by prosecutors for the second straight day. Let's listen in.
And then it ends at 53:35 when they walk out. So that's just for the record.
And in total, you said roughly 2.5 hours?
Yes, Your Honor. The first one's going to be, when you take the stuff out, is 41 minutes. Part 2 is 67 minutes. And Part 3 is 47 minutes.
Thank you.
And then I'm going to let you sit next door for a second. I'm going to go grab my notes and I'll be right back with you, okay? You need anything?
That's good to go.
Okay. I will be right back. I'm not going to lock the door until it says,
It's all-
walk around and stare at you.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay. I apologize for that. I have not gone to the bathroom all day.
Yeah. It's all good.
So I promise I'll wash my hands.
It's all good.
I'm going to introduce myself again.
Yeah.
My name is Investigator Jason Smith. I'm with the Barrow County Sheriff's Office.
Yeah.
And you're Mr. Colin Gray, correct? Okay.
Sorry, we're meeting like this.
Unfortunately, that happens. And I'm going to apologize beforehand because I'm going to get 1,000 text messages and emails, and I'm trying to keep them, turn all them off right now. So I've heard a little bit. I understand that you talked with law enforcement. I heard a little bit about kind of your statements to them. I'm just going to go ahead and explain my involvement. Yesterday, we were here at the office. We got the call.
Sure.
Go out to the high school, and while at the high school, after everything was secure, and you know, the medics had assisted with life-saving measures and everything like that, I conducted an interview with your son. Okay, he did, you know, we respected his rights. He was read Miranda. You know,
He's great enough to us,
yeah, he was very respectful. Yes, sir. No, sir. And he basically explained to us what he did. I mean, he explained to us exactly what we observed on the cameras.
Okay, well, let me have it. What did he say? Like, what happened?
Okay, so, and I'll get into that and answer as many of your questions as possible. But in order for me to kind of help better articulate that to you, it's kind of like when you work a case like this, it's kind of like putting together a puzzle.
Yeah.
And right now, I don't have a very good view of what's going on.
Yes, sir.
So I understand he's been solely living with you for the past couple of years, give or take. And while we're talking, is it okay if I take some notes?
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because my memory, while it's okay some days. And Colin, you spell your name C-O-L-I-N?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have a middle name?
No, man.
No middle name. Colt doesn't have a middle name either. Yeah.
Colin Jr., my little one, is 8.
You don't have a middle name either.
This
Okay.
goes back to my dad's side of the family.
Just no middle name.
All the boys, all the way back to the Mayflower.
Oh, wow.
CG.
Wow.
And I was married when I was young, like.
I was wondering why everybody had that CG like
Yeah,
that.
so I was married when you're about to be 20 or whatever, you know everything, and
Uh-huh.
moved out, got married, had 2 older daughters, Brittany and Brooke, and
You said Brittany and Brooke?
Brittany and Brooke,
Okay.
yeah, and
Where do they live?
they live over in Woodstock with their mom.
Okay. How old are they?
They're and 25.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Who's 26?
The older one is Brittany.
Okay.
Brooke is the younger one.
Well, why don't they have CG in their names? Is it just boys that?
That was just girls, yeah. So I told my dad, I said, it ended with me, Pops. I'm like, I'm really sorry, I missed a lot of history. And he laughed. I'm like, I said something funny. He was like, you'll be married again, boy. I'm like, oh man, you lost your mind. I said, child support. I'm like, do you want me to go through this?
Then you got married again?
Yeah. Got
That's
married.
very usually good. Never say never.
And that's exactly what he said. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I can tell you where I was standing when I was wearing one.
Right.
I said, never. And he was right. So got married.
Oh, people usually are.
Yeah, when I get to the other side, I'm sure he's got a lot to say to me.
Oh, yeah.
We found out she was having a baby. I'm like,
Who's name, baby?
look, she would be ex-wife.
Colt. News getting
Colt.
Oh, okay.
And I said, oh my God. I said, the first word, sure is mine. Just break the ice.
Mm-hmm.
Second was like, God, that was a boy.
Uh,
She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, no pressure. I said, I just said it's a boy. She's like, no, tell me something. It was back. She's like,
Okay, the Colin Gray trial continuing right now. They are watching what is going to be a lengthy interview. That's between the investigator there on the left with the Barrow County Sheriff's Office, who's on the stand testifying, and on the right there in the Georgia hat, you see Colin Gray himself. I believe this is the day after the shooting was carried out. We're also watching a Surgeon General hearing right now, examining the nomination of Casey Means to be the medical director in the regular core of the Public Health Service and to be Surgeon General of the Public Health Service. It would be a term of 4 years. So that's underway right now as we also take a live look at the U.S. Capitol, where last night the State of the Union address was held, and it was a long one, clocking in at just under 2 hours. 1 hour and 48 minutes. President Trump making his case to the American people, touching on everything from immigration to the economy and also tariffs and foreign policy. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. You are watching 11Alive Plus. Well, with high blood pressure or hypertension affecting nearly half of U.S. adults, there is one program showing how early intervention can change outcomes. Let's talk more about it with Stephen Booz, the Director of Program Operations for Value-Based Care at Piedmont. Stephen, good morning, sir. Good to have you.
Good morning, Dan. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, you're welcome. Looking forward to learning more about this. What is hypertension and why is it such a crisis right now?
Gosh, Dan, hypertension, high blood pressure. One in more than half Americans have high blood pressure, Dan, and don't even know that they have it. About 40% of those people don't know that they have high blood pressure. And this is so important because high blood pressure can lead to stroke, it can lead to heart disease, kidney disease, even dementia. It's very important to detect this disease and get it under control. And the program we have here at Piedmont Care Connect, helps us to do this in a few different ways.
Yeah, so
Love to share some.
tell me more about this program and how exactly it intervenes.
Certainly. Piedmont Care Connect has two peers, really, two programs within itself, chronic care management and remote patient monitoring. So our chronic care management program is essentially an extension of the high quality care that we try to deliver at Piedmont already. I like to explain this program. It's a complement to the physician's care that they're already providing. It's an extra set of eyes and ears in between visits with your doctor, eyes and ears on the patient. It's an extra tool in their toolkit and a different way to partner with their patients. So we're essentially contacting our patients and talking to them, checking on them every month and making sure that they have the things that they need. They're taking their medications. They're taking their medications the right way. We have resources in the community and have enabled our care coordinators with easy methods to find those resources. We also have devices that we can deploy to the patient's home that connect right to our medical record here at Piedmont, which will transmit vital signs from the patient right into the medical record so that their doctors and care teams can see those vitals in real time and intervene as necessary. So that ability to partner with your doctor and manage your conditions and make adjustments in real time is one way that we're working to attack this hypertension dilemma.
You know, it's great that you have this technology, and I think a lot of people are thinking about, especially when it comes to artificial intelligence and what the future looks like. Are we ever going to keep that human interaction? But it seems like you're doing that here, right? You still have the nurse involved. You're still making those phone calls to patients. How important is that piece of having, that little human touch still available?
I think it's very important. It adds an additional extension of the care team, really. You've got somebody checking on you. We have people who are lonely, right? Our patients get to know our care coordinators and they're talking to them every month, and they're even calling in to ask questions and look for help with different resources. The importance of keeping that relationship and accountability with the patient. Your doctor is like your head coach, right? And you've got to make all these decisions in your life to take care of yourself. Well, we're adding an extra layer of accountability to that patient and somebody to remind you. Somebody's going to call you and go over what the doctor said with you and help you understand that in words that you can interpret and understand better for yourself and really stay on top of that plan. It's consistency, it's accountability, and being able to detect those diseases and really address these conditions before they cause severe damage internally.
Stephen, any success stories you can share with us? I think I read about a 70-year-old man in Monroe who says this program actually saved his life.
Indeed, that was a wonderful, wonderful success for us. So what happened is this gentleman took his blood pressure, and the heart rate that transmitted with his blood pressure was extremely low, outside of what a normal range would be. So our care teams called to check on this gentleman, subsequently called that gentleman's doctor, and the doctor said, go to the emergency department. Well, this patient went to the emergency department, ended up being admitted, and had a pacemaker put in. And just the magnitude of that kind of a story and somebody crediting a Piedmont program with saving their life, it's moving to me as an administrator, but to our care teams and our providers, the same. This man was so thankful when we spoke to him. I just couldn't believe it. I was so excited.
Well, in situations like that, this is no doubt priceless, but I'm sure it comes at a cost. If I'm interested in enrolling, am I paying anything out of pocket? Is it covered by insurance? What do I need to know?
Great question, Dan. The cost of this program is mostly covered by insurance. There's a chance that patients have a small copay. It just depends on their individual plan. Best thing to do is if you're interested in enrolling, go to piedmont.org/Care Connect or talk to your doctor and we can get you set up.
Stephen Booz from Piedmont, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate you having me. Have a great afternoon.
Yeah, you're welcome. Come back anytime. Nice talking. We're back in just a few minutes. You're watching 11Alive Plus. (10:22). Nice to be with you here from the Streaming Center for the next 40 minutes, where every morning we're bringing you live interviews, bringing you guests with commentary, analysis, and perspective, like we just brought you there with the man from Piedmont. We're also following feeds from around the country. Reams Landreth back there punching up some feeds. Reams, what have you been able to find this morning?
Yeah, so we've been bringing you live feeds of this Colin Gray trial. They're currently showing an interview with Colin Gray the day after the shooting at Appalachian High School. Audio here a little difficult to comprehend based off the technology in the room at that time. We're also following this live feed here out of our nation's capital now, 12 hours removed from the president's speech. The president's picked to be the next Surgeon General, testifying in front of a Senate committee on health, talking about different beliefs and practices. This is someone that helps set medical precedent for the country under this administration, if approved. You want to go ahead and listen to this?
Let's listen to Dr. Means.
NIH, ASIP,
But would you encourage
FDA.
mothers to vaccinate their children with the MMR vaccine, seeing how we've had children die and this outbreak in South Carolina?
I'm supportive of vaccination. I do believe that each patient, mother, parent needs to have a conversation with their pediatrician about any medication they're putting in their body or their children's
You're
bodies.
the nation's doctor. Would you encourage her to have her child vaccinated?
I'm not an individual's doctor, and every individual needs to talk to their doctor before putting a medication in their body. I absolutely am supportive of the measles vaccine, and I do believe vaccines save lives and are an important part of the public health strategy.
We've had a tough flu season this year. Would you, as past surgeon generals have, encourage Americans to get vaccinated with the flu vaccine?
At the risk of sounding repetitive, I do think it's very important as a physician and to rebuild trust in public health to make sure that patients are encouraged to have informed consent with their doctor before getting any medication. I believe vaccines save lives. I believe they're an important part of public health. I also do not want to not encourage patients to have a conversation with their doctor. I think it's incredibly important, and informed consent is going to be part of building trust in public health.
We've had an outbreak of whooping cough in Louisiana, vaccine-preventable disease. Children have actually died from it. Think about it, a child about the age of your child dying from a vaccine-preventable disease. And some have been scared to vaccinate their children because they've been told incorrectly that vaccines cause autism. Do you believe that vaccines, whether individually or collectively, contribute to autism?
Senator Cassidy, you're a physician, I'm a physician. The reality is that we have an autism crisis that's increasing, and this is devastating to many families, and we do not know, as a medical community, what causes autism. The administration has just committed a huge amount of funding to look at the exposome of all environmental factors that could be contributing to autism. And until we have a clear understanding of why kids are developing this at higher rates, I think we should not leave any stones unturned.
There's been a lot of evidence showing that they're not implicated. Do you not accept that evidence?
I do accept that evidence. I also think that science is never settled, and I think that the effort to look at comprehensive cumulative exposures of our exposome into what is causing autism is important, and I look forward to seeing those results and sharing the best public health information with the American people.
Well, I got through 5 out of my 7, so thank you for cooperating. Senator Sanders.
Thank you. And like the chairman, I've got a lot of questions in a short period of time. I enjoyed your opening remarks, and I think you're right. This is a country that is sick in many ways. We need to focus on disease prevention rather than spending a huge amount of money on tertiary care. And I've enjoyed and appreciated some of the remarks you have made in the past. So let me just see if we're on the same page here. When I was sitting where Senator Cassidy is now, I fought hard to have much more substantive labeling on junk food. In fact, it's my view that we should not have food manufacturers selling junk TV ads. My understanding is you have come out against junk food ads on television. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you just take 30 seconds to elaborate that? Would you use your position to ban junk food TV ads?
Thank you so much, Senator Sanders, and I agree with you completely. I think there is so much that we agree on these issues. Just to be clear, the Surgeon General's office does not have the purview to ban this.
But you have a voice.
Absolutely, and that's a voice I would absolutely lend to talking about the dangers of ultra-processed foods and getting these advertisements off TV. Right. This has long been a part of my message. I talk about it in my book.
Senator Marshall mentioned earlier ago the crisis we have in obesity, childhood obesity. And you have these manufacturers selling sugar-laden products that cause obesity.
Yes.
So you will speak out. And do I understand your view is you would fight to ban TV ads of junk food?
I think you will be frustrated by how much I will be talking about ultra-processed foods.
Good. I won't be frustrated. I'd be delighted. All right, let me ask you another area that we may have some agreement. As you know, the United States and New Zealand are the only 2 countries in the world that allow the pharmaceutical industry to advertise on TV. I believe we should ban those ads. How do you feel?
I agree with you.
Okay.
I mean, just to elaborate, as you know, but for anyone who might be listening, about 65 to 70% of the calories that our children are eating are ultra-processed frankenfoods made in factories that are so disconnected from their origin, source, and nutritional value that, we're putting just nutritionally devoid food in our children. And then we wonder why we have an obesity crisis in children and why chronic diseases are rising as early as
no, you're right.
Toddler years. So
that's right.
My vision in this role is to get more whole, healthy foods on American plates.
And we spend a fortune.
A fortune.
We make people sick, and then we spend a fortune trying to keep them alive. All right, those are important areas of agreement, and I appreciate that. But I want to pick up on an issue that the chairman raised, and it's a terribly important one, and that deals with vaccines. And I think the answers you gave us were a little bit political and not to the point. The American Medical Association, I don't know if you're a member of it or not, is the largest professional association of physicians representing over 270,000 doctors. And they wrote in November that, quote, an abundance of evidence from decades of scientific studies shows no link between vaccines and autism, end quote. In contrast, Secretary Kennedy has said, quote, "I do believe that autism does come from vaccines," end of quote. Dr. Means, who is right? Is the AMA right? Is the scientific community right? Or is Secretary Kennedy right?
As I said to Senator Cassidy, we have a situation where autism is rising.
It is.
This is a huge problem.
It is, but we don't want conspiracy theories to be.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. And also, as a biomedical researcher and physician, I am not going to sit here and say that we should not study something in the future. It's not a political answer.
We should study everything.
We should study the different factors that may be causing the
I agree,
autism.
but you have scientific evidence, the overwhelming body of scientific evidence says vaccines do not cause autism.
So just to be very clear, vaccine advocacy has never, or any anti-vaccine rhetoric has never been a part of my message. I don't mention the word vaccine in my book. This is not a part of my core message. I am not here to complicate the issue on vaccines. And also, I, as a physician, am very careful with my words, and I don't think it's responsible to say that we're not going to study when kids are getting many medications.
All right.
I think it's important to just keep it on the table.
Last question. I'm sorry, running out of time. We are the only major country on earth that does not guarantee health care to all people as a human right. Dr. Means, is health care a human right? Should the United States join every other major country and say to everybody, whether you're young, old, rich, or poor, you are entitled to health care as a human right? Yes, no, maybe?
My focus is on ensuring that Americans have access to the best health care in the entire world, which, as you talked about, as I talked about, as everyone who's spoken is talking about, is pretty much the opposite of what we have right now. We spend 2x every other country in the world, and we have the worst health.
I agree, but is health care a human right? Will you join me in fighting for a national health care program?
I will be by your side trying to get Americans access to the best health care in the world.
Thank you very much.
Senator Mullen.
A little bit of agreement there in Washington at this hearing to nominate the next Surgeon General of the United States, and whether she will be confirmed. Dr. Casey Means, a 38-year-old there, who studied at Stanford University and is an entrepreneur and an author. Meanwhile, last night in the nation's capital, President Trump delivered his State of the Union address, and some Democrats chose to skip it. Some who stayed inside the chambers booed and jeered at parts as he listed his accomplishments in year one and what he expects for year two, talking everything about the economy, foreign policy, and immigration, and yes, even tariffs. Let's get more from NBC's Tracy Wilkins.
It was the longest State of the Union speech ever, beating the record that President Trump previously set. He clearly delivered the message that he hopes Republicans will spread as the midterms grow closer. But in their response, Democrats challenged the president's reality with what recent polls show Americans are feeling. As President Trump addressed members of Congress for the second year of his second term.
Our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
Divisions between the two parties were evident, especially on issues like the state of the economy.
They caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem.
The president boasted a stronger economy, one of the many issues more than half of Americans believe he's failing on, according to recent polling. Trump also made his case on his tariffs in front of the Supreme Court justices who recently ruled limiting his ability to levy them.
But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made.
The president touted ending wars while promising he will not allow Iran to pursue a nuclear weapon.
I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon.
Several Democrats boycotted the speech, while some who were there at times shouted in protest, especially apparent when the president accused Democrats of supporting sanctuary cities and not his immigration policies.
They're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
It was a point Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger addressed in the Democratic response.
Our president has sent poorly trained federal agents into our cities, where they have arrested and detained American citizens and people who aspire to be Americans. And they have done it without a warrant.
Spanberger also countered questioning if Americans are the ones who are benefiting most from the president's policies.
The scale of the corruption is unprecedented.
With so much division on display between the parties, there was a moment when both sides of the aisle agreed and Democrats applauded. And that's when the president called for the passage of a bill to end insider stock trading by members of Congress. In Washington, I'm Tracy Wilkins. Back to you.
Okay, so your typical political division in a State of the Union address. Reams, I guess there was some agreement there when it comes to stock trading in Congress, but then also there was some national unity in another moment.
There was. The U.S. men's national hockey team, fresh off that gold medal win on Sunday, was a guest at the State of the Union. All but 5 were in attendance. They took one of the presidential planes to D.C. After landing in Miami on Monday afternoon. I believe they went to the White House first, then they went to the Capitol for the State of the Union, where the goalkeeper, Connor, I'm not going to pronounce his last name because I'm going to butcher that.
Hockey names are always tough.
Great goalkeeper, won us the gold medal there, that beautiful save, was honored with the Presidential Medal of Freedom during that ceremony. Standing ovation from everyone.
Yeah.
One of those moments where you kind of help celebrate. You can't help but celebrate. The women's team, however, declined an invitation. They were kind of invited haphazardly in a phone call. Kash Patel was in the locker room during the celebration of the men's team.
Right.
Calls the president. They're chit-chatting. President kind of mentions he also, after inviting the men's team, that he has to invite the women's team or else people will want to impeach him for it. The women's team kind of said, you know what, we're good. And Flavor Flav, who's been around the Olympics for a few years, has really been helping finance the women's sports, especially, I believe this year he helped finance the skeleton and luge programs for the U.S. women's team. It's been around, especially water polo was a big figure there in the Paris Olympics. Has invited them out to Vegas, the women's team out to Vegas to celebrate. So a little bit of celebrations all around.
I was wondering when you brought up Flavor Flav how you were going to tie him into all this. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, no, you've got Flava and you've got Snoop, who are the big figures in the Olympics that kind of just go out and do their thing.
You know how much Snoop makes the Olympics?
I don't want to know.
It's an insane amount. I heard it. It's mind-blowing.
Between that and like Colin Jost from Lake Placid, that's just a fun little extra. I love how, as we've talked about these last fortnight and change of just how the Olympics can bring everyone together no matter what. Last night, a lot of division at the State of the Union. That was one of the moments that really brought everyone together. But athletes are coming back from Milan. Our Cheryl Freeheim is coming back. She'll be back on TV next week here. We've missed her. We've loved her reporting. One of those athletes, Isabella Vito, one of the ice dancers, or figure skaters, pardon me, was in Atlanta yesterday.
Okay.
She was at She was in Marietta at an ice rink there, surprising the members of the Atlanta Figure Skating Club. Showed up just to chat with them, took some photos with the kids there, just, trying to be that inspiration for our next generation. She was on the gold medal winning team when they won the team competition at the beginning of the Olympics. Did pretty well in her individual rights. Did not medal, though, in the the women's individual skating.
Okay.
But a lot of fun there.
And now we got to wait 2 more years for the Summer Games,
2
which
years,
are going to be held
4 months in L.A.
In L.A.
Kind of.
Kinda.
So there's been a big push in recent years to make sure that Olympics are sustainable. We saw that in Milan Cortina. Those are 4 or 5 hours apart.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're looking for how do we make sure that we can sustainably run these venues. The cross-country skiing venue has been around for decades.
Okay.
They're repurposing old rinks. They're not really building new stadiums. If you remember in Rio and in Beijing, they're building whole brand new venues in the early 2000s that they just aren't doing anymore. For LA 28, they don't have a lot of world-class softball venues in LA.
Okay.
So they're going to the softball center in Oklahoma City.
Interesting. You told me something I didn't know.
Thousands of miles away.
Is this a financial decision or an environmental decision?
It's a bit of both.
Okay.
Significantly cheaper.
Yeah.
To just find the closest things. If you
Fly
look
them
at,
out to Oklahoma.
I was looking at the 2030 Winter Games. It's going to be the French Alps.
Okay.
That's not a city name. Usually these are city names. LA, Milano Cortina, Paris, London, Beijing. The French Alps is not as, because it's spread out over a half dozen, 8 cities.
Yeah.
They're just wherever they can find, Nice. You don't really think of snow when you think of Nice. They're hosting hockey and I believe figure skating out of there.
Okay.
You've got the French Alps, the mountains portion is where you're going to host the mountain events, but a lot of different sustainability, a huge factor when they're
Interesting.
choosing and just trying to keep cities from going into debt.
Sure. Okay. Coming up here in 2 years.
2 years.
On U.S. soil. Reams, very insightful. Thank you, sir. Hey, I should also add, in addition to the Presidential Medal of Freedom with the goalie last night, the president also awarded 2 medals of honor to military aviators of different eras and also a helicopter pilot who was wounded in that raid to capture Nicolas Maduro and a Korean warfighter pilot, all at last night's State of the Union. We're back in just a couple minutes. You're watching 11Alive Plus. Watching several things for you this morning here from the Streaming Center, with you here for the next 17 minutes before we turn things over to 11Alive midday with a recap of all your local headlines. But the Colin Gray trial, perhaps the biggest thing we're watching currently on a local level. It is day 8 of that trial, and right now they are playing an interview, the initial interview between the Barrow County Sheriff's Office and Colin Gray, the father of the accused school shooter after that Appalachian High School shooting back in September of 2024. Colin Gray talking about when he purchased the gun for his son. Let's listen in.
Starts reading the results.
Why didn't give her hair blood test?
Her sister, apparently. That I never got the whole story.
She had all the kids down there.
She had my little one
Cole
and
and
Jimmy. Yeah, Cole and Jimmy, and Cole was with me. And I'm like, at that time I started thinking, like, okay, this is why Jimmy's wanting to come back. Something's wrong. I don't know what it is, but I had issues with it drinking. That's where I'm like.
So what was the result of all that?
So they read it all. I'm like, yep. She used to have a prescription for Adderall. That was in there. Opioids were in there. And the high wine or high alcohol content. Like, I'm just like, golly, I know all this. And she said, I've been doing this for the rest of my years, and I've never seen a level come back nest currently next to where I'm like, I stood up, I'm like, can I take my kids? She's like, hang on. She's like, it's on, no, confused, it's together.
That's what Marcy was saying.
Yeah, and I'm just like, this is like the worst thing that could possibly happen. I'm like, okay. So we finished all that, like you got the kids, and you have custody of the kids. Visitation is only if Corey allows it, and where it's gonna be, it's up to him, basically. I'm like, great.
So they did like a safety plan when you took the kids. Is that still in place now?
No, it's not.
How long did they?
I'd say probably right after probably 2 or 3 days after Lieutenant Guest beat on my door at 2:30 in the morning. He showed up with 3 or 4 different deputies.
You said who? Who beat on your door?
Lieutenant Guest for Barrow County.
When did he come out there?
I got his car and I think it was.
Was it recent?
Yeah, it was when I first got the kids back up there. And say, got the kids.
Like a recent and then like a week ago?
Oh,
2 weeks ago?
no, this was shortly after I got the kids back up there. So, I'd say we've been there so it's probably 5, 6 months ago maybe. And these are off. I got his car and all that.
I'm not holding you.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you do it.
Okay. So it was only, the safety plan was only 3 months?
He was beating on the door. She had called and said that
That's the end of the first video.
Okay. I took the kids for a fall break and never came back. I'm like, no. It's like, can I go to some Chuck? He's like, yeah. I had that letter from DFAX and he's like, this is a safety plan. So this is what?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't understand. And I'm like, well, it should, because that's how I want to get kids.
Well, to kind of explain that better, Lieutenant Guest was,
I was like,
we don't get involved in that. And I'm sure that was probably the exact statement he made that to you.
I was like,
unless it's signed by a judge, we can't enforce that.
I didn't say that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's kind of cleared that
Got
out.
it. So I don't know who grabbed him, somebody walked him out my front yard. It's like, you're still married? I'm like, yeah. So he came back, he was like, okay. Whatever that conversation was, he was different too when he came back on board.
Okay, good.
So then, once that settled right,
I had to figure out when the safety plan was
it's like, holy shit, because I called the defects lady, I'm like, I got the law tell me that this doesn't matter.
What she said.
She was like, it's completely false. She's like, no, I'll go down there, I'll talk to everybody in the morning and tell them you're abiding by the plan, it's no problem. You're doing everything that you're supposed to do by law. And she said, I'll sit down with Jenny after this, make sure everybody is good and safe. And
Kids stay where you go.
Yeah.
That's what I told you. You don't get involved in it.
Yeah.
Wherever the kids are at, they stay.
That's right.
Figure that out.
And it was even as I said,
Yep.
LT, I'll go in there and wake him up if you want to. He's like, no, it's all good. So,
let's kind of circle back on
yeah, sure.
So last Christmas,
Yes.
you buying the rifle that was used this time. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you got it.
Is it just me, or is that audio kind of hard to hear in that interview between Colin Gray and the Barrow County Sheriff's Department? Perhaps it's a little easier for jurors in the courtroom. They are listening to this interview right now. It's going to be key to the case. Prosecution showing it as they are nearing the end of everything they are presenting. It is day 8 of that trial. We're keeping a close eye on things for you there. If you'd like to watch it for yourself, just scroll down and then over right now on the 11Alive Plus app. But now let's go back to Washington, D.C., and the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee holding a hearing right now. They're examining the nomination of Casey Means to be the next Surgeon General of the U.S. It would be a term of 4 years. Let's listen in.
The company agreed to pay $43 million to resolve allegations that it had billed for medically unnecessary lab tests and violated the False Claims Act. You personally accepted $10,000 from this company, and I want to ask you whether you were aware of Genova Diagnostics' prior violations and the settlement when you started promoting their services.
Thank you, Senator Baldwin, and also thank you so much for meeting with me beforehand. I really enjoyed our conversation. Frankly, I was not familiar with that settlement.
So that's
there's a particular test that they make about nutrient quality that I find very compelling, because I do think we need to understand a little bit more transparently about how the nutrients from our food are affecting our health. And I would just highlight that I have worked extremely closely with the Office of Government Ethics over the last several months and taken this process very seriously. I've signed a letter that outlines how to rectify any potential conflicts. And I
know you're going to divest your
absolutely
stocks in all sorts of health-related and non-health-related entities, but it's troubling because the Surgeon General must be someone that the public can trust, and someone who does their homework before accepting money or lending credibility to a company. And for me, this raises questions about your judgment. It does not inspire confidence that you're here to make Americans healthy when you accept money to promote a company who's had to pay a settlement because of violating the False Claims Act. Dr. Means, you have also promoted a range of supplements, including those that claim to promote longevity and detoxification. You made at least $325,000 from promoting supplements since the beginning of 2024, according to information provided to this committee. This includes nearly $135,000 for a so-called longevity supplement and $46,000 for wellness teas and elixirs, both of which can cost upwards of $100 a month for somebody consuming them. Your company, Levels Health, offers continuous glucose monitoring and AI-driven health insights. And a full membership, and I'm not sure what all a full membership involves, but costs $1,500 a year. And that's about a whole month's average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So do you really believe that most Americans can afford to spend upwards of $1,500 a year on your supplements and programs? And is that one of your solutions to our nation's health problems?
Thank you for the question. I certainly don't think every American needs to be wearing a glucose monitor. I think that we have a monumental blood sugar problem in this country that underlies most of the leading causes of death in this country: dementia, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, stroke are all connected by metabolic dysfunction and elevated blood sugar. And my work on using entrepreneurship as a tool to bring and study new tools that can help us understand our blood sugar better, I believe I'm very proud of. And as I mentioned in my opening statement,
thank you for that statement and those observations, Dr. Means.
And that research that we've done with the company is meant to benefit all Americans. It does not necessarily mean that
tie up in my remaining 12 seconds. Dr. Means, you say you want to address chronic disease, but 1/3 of low-income adults have 2 or more chronic conditions. They need an affordable solution. Groceries are too expensive. Health care is too expensive. Health insurance premiums have skyrocketed because of Republicans' refusal to extend the tax credit and cuts to Medicaid. 15 million Americans are losing their health insurance. People cannot afford their prescription drugs. So you've said that our healthcare system is broken, but it seems to me that you've spent your career sort of making money off the flaws in the system, and I'm left wondering how the American people are supposed to trust you to put their health and safety first, not profits.
Those are incorrect characterizations. I appreciate your comments, and I do look forward to working with you and on your priorities. And I absolutely am committed to giving Americans the best public health information possible. And like the comments I made prior, I think some of the movement in our administration towards making healthy food more accessible are going to impact all Americans in a very positive way. And I look forward to helping on that and many other issues that make healthcare accessibility much easier for all Americans.
Senator Husted.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Means, thanks for being here today. I'm going to try to get through pesticides and mental health for our children, if I could. I want to thank you for what you're trying to do to raise awareness about healthy eating, healthy foods. And since your nomination, and though I've had a lot of questions from farmers in the agriculture community in Ohio about your comments on pesticides. And you will not regulate pesticides in your role, but your views will impact American consumers and what they believe about what's healthy and good for them. What is a pesticide? I would just put a little poster up here, and why do we use them? Because this is the kind of thing we try to prevent. This is an earworm. This is the kind of thing that destroys our crops in all across the country. Corn, wheat, soybeans, fruit, and vegetables. If we fail to use proper pesticides, it will drive down yields of 20 to 50%, even more for fruits and vegetables, the very things we want people to eat more of, which will restrict the supply chain, make food less accessible.
Surgeon General hearing continue right now as Casey Means is up for approval there by the Senate. But now we want to get to a warning this morning about scammers targeting job seekers trying to steal your money. We have some tips for you here. The FBI's Internet Crime Compliance Center warns that these fraudsters often pose as recruiters and rush into providing personal information, rushing you into doing that. First, they say verify the company. Search the company online and check the Better Business Bureau for legitimacy. Check contact info. Be suspicious of non-company emails. Beware of upfront costs. Legit employers won't ask you to pay for equipment or processing fees. And remember to protect personal info too. Don't provide social security numbers or financial info unless that website is secure. And remember, if anything feels off, folks, just report it to the FBI. For more stories on easy ways to save money, head over to the Money Move section of 11alive.com. Hey, really enjoyed the last 2 hours with you here on 11Alive Plus. We do this every morning, Monday through Friday, from our streaming center. You never know what we're going to bring you because a lot of times we don't either. We are watching breaking news as it happens and feeds from across the nation. Coming up in midday, just 2 minutes away, more on Colin Gray, Day 8, as testimony continues right now. Also, the State of the Union. If you missed it last night or maybe you didn't watch all of it, it was an hour and 48 minutes after all. We're going to have a recap of what you missed. And a live report from the NFL Combine. Our Maria Martin is grabbing interviews right now with some local players. She's going to have a live report. And what does this all mean for the Atlanta Falcons? She has grabbed some key interviews in the last few days, looking ahead to the future of the team. And we're going to look ahead at this live shot from noon, and we'll leave you with today. The clouds are out, but it is warming up a bit. The 60s are coming back, baby. We'll see you tomorrow.